Welcome back here to Fox 8 News in the Morning. We have continuing coverage of Issue 1 here on your local election headquarters. Right now, Ohioans are deciding whether or not abortions should be legalized.
And Issue 1 has become a flashpoint in politics. We had Mayor Justin Bibb joining the program yesterday to pitch the yes side of this. Today we're hearing from the no vote. And joining us now is Michael Ganadakis. He's the president of Ohio Right to Life. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Happy to have you here. This essentially comes down to whether you're for abortion or against abortion. But there's a lot of talk about the language in this particular piece of legislation, not including the term woman, where they say individual, or and that would allow some issues concerning parents as well, because when you say individual, that could mean a minor. Things like fetal viability, but not necessarily giving a timeline. Is the language of this really the focus for you?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm very grateful to be here this morning. I would respectfully say this isn't a debate whether you're pro-life or pro-choice anymore, because even pro-choice women are saying this is a bridge too far. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, you look at this language, it's less than 250 words. You don't have to be a lawyer to understand it. You can say, look, hey, I'm pro-choice, but I actually support parental rights, my parental rights. I'm sure pro-choice moms and dads want to be able to protect what they say with their 12, 13, 14-year-old daughter, as well as pro-life parents to do. So at the end of the day, look, Ohio is a diverse state. There's a lot of pro-life people in Ohio, and there's a lot of pro-choice people in Ohio. We can do better than this, because what this amendment would do was, as you said, it would enshrine late-term abortion in our state constitution, number one, and number two, it would get rid of parental consent, parental notification, and parental rights. That's a bridge too far for all Ohioans, whether you live in Cleveland or where I live in Columbus. We can do better than this.
But aren't there restrictions already on the books for to have if a minor wants to have an abortion? Doesn't it have to go through a judge? It has to go through some legal things?
Yeah, correct. So if you're currently, Ohio law says, not the Constitution, but Ohio law says if you're a minor, there's a thing called a judicial bypass. You can go to a judge, and there's 5 or 6 different standards you have to meet, so judges just don't rubber stamp it. But if the criteria are met, a minor can get an abortion with or without parental consent. We have those laws. But look, at the end of the day, the law in Ohio is 5 months. A woman can have an abortion up to 5 months of pregnancy, 20 weeks right now, for any reason whatsoever. Choice, health, life, whatever the concerns may be. And that's where we are. And all the polling demonstrates Ohioans support that 20 weeks. That's far enough into a pregnancy. But the abortion industry, those are asking people to vote yes on this, doesn't think it's enough. They want to go all the way to 9 months. No Ohioan that I know, not even my pro-choice neighbors, support that.
We want to go to a poll. We brought this up with the mayor yesterday as well. There's a new Baldwin-Wallace University Ohio Pulse poll that's out there, and they asked likely voters how they plan to vote for Issue 1. 58% had said yes. 34% said that they would be voting no. 8% say they are undecided. What is your response to that?
Look, it's a poll. It's a snapshot in time. We do polling in Columbus, spend a tremendous amount of money. Our numbers are different. It's going to be a close race. But when the average voter actually reads the language, look, I know where everyone's watching 30-second commercials right now from us and from the other side, but when you read the language, you're like, oh, okay, I understand. And when they say individual, that means a 12-year-old. It could be a 22-year-old. When they say the state shall make no law that directly or indirectly interferes with a individual's right to an abortion, that wipes out every law in the books. And when you explain to what's on the line, our numbers skyrocket. So that poll right there, it's basically a question of if you're pro-life or pro-choice, that's not on the ballot.
We did have Mayor Bibb on the show yesterday. We talked about that. He mentioned one issue of this, Issue 1, that's particularly critical to the lives and the health of black women here in Cleveland. So we're going to play a clip and then give you a chance to respond to that.
We have a lot of women, particularly black women, who are affected by this issue. 2 to 3 black women in our city are seeing potential death because of pregnancy-related causes. And so it's so important for us to protect that choice, to ensure that we can have safe, legal access to abortion in our state.
Your thoughts?
Well, I don't know the mayor, but it breaks my heart to hear him say that, a mayor of color, because in the state of Ohio right now, African-American women make up about 13% of our state population, yet over 40% of all the abortions every year are performed on black women. Where are Planned Parenthood located, abortion clinics located? Not in rich white suburbs. They're located in inner city, Hispanic, African-American communities. It's as if they're targeting them. We can do better for the African-American community. We've had countless pastors come out, Democrat pastors, Republican pastors, all different denominations, saying, hey, Issue 1 is dangerous. Vote no. So the black community is coming together, and I'd love to sit down with the mayor, bring him on the show and talk, and we can sit here together and talk about this, but he's either misguided or he didn't read the language.
So for those who are for this, they will they have said and have come up with the fact that there's no exceptions for things like rape, for things like incest, or the well-being, the health of the mother. What is your response to that?
Respectfully, that's simply not true. A current law in Ohio, it's called the Pain Capable Law. John Kasich signed it. I helped write it back in 2016. A woman can have an abortion for any reason whatsoever up to 20 weeks, 5 months into pregnancy. So there are those exceptions: rape, incest, life of the mother, health of the mother, miscarriage. Everything is there. It's there presently. But unfortunately, the 30-second ads you're seeing on TV are not being honest to the general public. The Ohio Revised Code is there. Anyone can read it. You can Google it and see what the current law is.
Those who have maybe made up their mind, obviously you're not people who you're targeting to try to get the message out, but so what do you say to someone who is undecided, who may be kind of on the fence and maybe have some leaning to either side, or maybe right in the middle? How do you convince those voters to go to your side?
Well, you nailed it. That's what we're fighting for right now. The pro-life voters are voting no, pro-choice voters are voting yes, but that mushy middle, we're explaining to them that you can be pro-choice and also vote no on this, because you should want to protect your parental rights, your neighbor's parental rights. You should not think that the state constitution should have late-term abortion in it. Look, when you put something in the Constitution, it trumps state law. You can't call Mayor Bibb, you can't call Mike DeWine, Sherrod Brown, if something's put in the state constitution, because it trumps everything. That's why it's so dangerous when you do these constitutional amendments, because if you don't get the wording right, we have to live with it for the rest of our lives.
We appreciate you, Mike, for being here today,
Thank you
for
so much.
speaking to your side of this. And it's a difficult decision for a lot of folks to make, one way or the other. So we encourage you to go read the amendment yourself and come to your own conclusions after hearing from both sides of it these last couple of days.
And if you want to watch that interview with Mayor Bibb, we have it on our website as well. If you want to check that out, we'll have mics on there as well. Don't forget Election Day coming up on November 7th.
Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Good to see you.